to play. That's our word of the month for June 2012. We're here to play. And you know, they always say that a happy person likes to play a lot, likes to have a good time, likes to be in community, likes to seek others that enjoys the same playful nature that they possess. And I think we've got a good mix here at the center, that there's playful souls, and that isn't only reserved for the young. All of us that are wisdom-filled enjoy that too. So I'm very grateful to be here to deliver your lesson today, and we'll go right into it. To play or not to play, that is a question. And I've asked it many times of myself, and I'm sure that all of you have had the opportunity to ask yourself that. Well, it's summertime. It's playtime. You know, put on the flip-flops, the shorts, and a t-shirt and go play. That's what we're here about, to have a good time, to enjoy, to call forth that which is in us that needs to be expressed. Well, it is summertime, and on Friday night, I thought we had a simmer time here at the center. It was a time to play and hang out, that's for true, but it was a warm evening. What I remember most about summer growing up here in the valley, I was born here in Chico, as most of you know, it was before the days of air conditioning. We did have electricity and water and flush toilets, but we didn't have a lot of air conditioning. And I can remember very distinctly when my parents finally saved enough to get a swamp cooler, and they put it in the dining room, and the three of us boys were sleeping out underneath a big English walnut tree outside. My sister was in this old two-story house that we all lived in, upstairs in a very hot bedroom. My mother and father moved the mattress off of their bed into the dining room where the swamp cooler blew, and they got the most wonderful cold from that being warm and that cold, wet air blowing on them. I've never been a proponent or an advocate for a swamp cooler. I know it does wonderful things in some places. But that memory from my childhood is one that I probably would not want to relive or have into my experience. Well, it worked for them, I guess, and it wasn't until my father made his transition. At that time, I put air conditioning in my mother's home. And she always had a little issue with turning the button on to get the cool air, wanting it and desiring it, but not wanting to pay for the energy. A depression child, you know how that is. You can remember from your grandmother or your mother or father. Well, in today's lesson, to play or not to play? That is that question. And we'll revisit it during my lesson today, so you'll kind of get my take on it. And I'm sure there'll be triggers in your own memory and your own imagination of what it is. Being a rather relational kind of soul, I'm of the belief that playing is mandatory. And it's mandatory if you want to have a sane and enjoyable existence. I don't know how sane my life is, but it is enjoyable. And I love having a good time. And all of you showed up so we could celebrate together. In fact, Friday night, some 80 of us played together. And I love what Reverend Michael calls, he calls this the East Lawn. We're not at the White House, I want you to know. We do have a big house, I'm grateful for it, and it's very cool inside. Friday night, it wasn't quite as cool, but we did have a great time. And every time I think about, after he shared that with me, Reverend Michael shared that with me, and I got thinking, I'm sure that the White House must have some kind of a cool breeze that blows without humidity and everything in the garden. But that wasn't the case Friday night. We had a wonderful time. It was our second annual spaghetti sauce cook-off, which Reverend Michael spoke about. And we had a lot of participants, 10 that did the sauces. We had 3 winners. And the beautiful part about all of it is that when we meet with Keith about his expenditures, that we'll have between, I think, $2,200 and $2,500 to pay down on reducing the renovation of the center here. So that made all of us that participated in it feel real good. And I have to say it was a warm and toasty evening. And I brought shorts along and a shirt, and I forgot they were there in the car, and I forgot to put them on. So it was about 9:30, I guess, and everything was kind of winding down. And I thought, you know, I could have put those shorts on. Didn't use my mind, my God-given one. Well, I want to say kudos to the winners of the sauce contest. The third place went to Kathy Robbins, second place to Andy Tureen, and Lynn Meacham won the first place in the categories of choice, the People's Choice. We're all well fed, we were well moisturized, and had a good time. And the wonderful thing that I want to share with you too is that the drawing held a lot of creative input for me, and there's lots of treasures that were available for purchase, and I surely didn't need any of them, but I wound up buying some, and I had the lucky ticket on several of them. So I did my Christmas shopping, a lot of it. So if you're on my list, you better watch out. Well, there's a couple of them I can't give away because I wanted them. I guess if I really loved you, I'd give it to you. It was fun. We enjoyed it a lot. But this morning I stand with you and filled with a great appreciation for the community that we have formed here and what has been done at the center and how we have grown together and come collectively into this unity and into this thought that there is that one power. Jazz legend Lionel Hampton wrote, "Gratitude is when memory is stored in the heart and not in the mind." And when we come from that center of love, when we come from that heart center, when we come from that, and whatever we do, wherever we go, whatever we say, whatever we think, whatever we do, whatever the circulation of our thought, deed, and action, when we come from love, we are living in our true, authentic space and knowing. And thanks to all of you who participated in Friday night's event. And I know that Reverend Michael had us all recognize one another, and everybody stood up. What I want to share with you this morning is that a Friday night event was put together, and it held faith to the test. And I'm knowing that our Saucy fundraiser, and that's what it was already a successful knowing in the mind of God. Spirit knew that before we ever started it. From the very beginning of the formation of having it again, I knew for all of us here at the center that it would be a successful event. Faith is something the individual is called forth to do. Each one of us are called forth in our faith. We live it. We live our faith. Our faith empowers us. It's the catalyst that moves us. And if we did not have faith in a higher power, we wouldn't be here today in celebration. Faith is something you can do that can take you from finite limitation into infinite possibility. We direct that thought. We move that thought. We think that thought. The team and all of us that worked on the event on Friday night shared that faith. There is one faith, like there's one power, one source, and we know that's Spirit, that's God, that's the high calling, that's the good one. And we know that when we live our faith and come true to that faith, faith makes itself known to us. And it validates the individual. And we know that whatever we have faith in, we create. It's up to us. It's up to us. Faith is a seed we plant in consciousness, like that garden in the Science of Mind 100 series, Seed, Soil, Spirit. We plant that in thought. We plant it. Faith is the power inherent in what we see or perceive. And the founder of religious science, Dr. Ernest Holmes, penned this in the textbook, which sums it up so beautifully. Faith is a mental attitude, so inwardly embodied that the mind can no longer deny it. Faith is complete when it is both a conscious and subjective acceptance. Faith may be consciously generated. In spiritual terminology, faith means a belief in the presence of an invisible power and a law which directly and specifically responds to us. And we know in our basic teaching here at the center that for every cause there is an effect, for every effect there is a cause. And so when we know this and come true to our faith base, we're living that truth. I like to think of us this Sunday that we're all faithed up, we're all revved up. We're all living and being and moving and having our life in this faith. Knowing that Will Rogers might have said it better. And he said, and this is his quote, "Even if you are on the right side of the track, you'll get run over if you just sat there." What I know for myself and for all of you, that if we do not continually move in mind and thought and the way we direct it, if we do not live what we truly believe, we're not doing our part. And you know what happens if we sit on the railroad track and a freight train comes along? Not a good thing. So as we move with an energy, move with an essence, and move in thought, in all that we think, and how we live it, and what we do, when we move with it, we're living it. We're living it and expressing it. To play or not to play? I'm saying take the chance and play. It's a good time with all of the wonderful out-of-doors things, activities, barbecues, mowing the lawn, trimming the trees and the bushes, and hopefully that you'll keep your plants that you planted and all the impatiens shaded so they won't wilt and die and fall away too soon. It's just the 1st of June.